Believe it or not, I've only filled one Pokedex in the almost decade I've played Pokemon. So it was about time I redeemed myself in Pokemon Scarlet. And this is that story. Alright, to start us off, I'm gonna get some of those early game Pokemon that I really should have caught at the beginning of the game. Stuff like Hoppip, Fleshling, and even Scatterbug. How did I not catch a Scatterbug? Besides catching Pokemon, you also need to evolve them too. Now, to be honest, you're probably wondering why I even brought this up. Well, I brought it up because I hate evolution. Throughout the game, you kind of realize how long and boring the evolution animation is. And don't even get me started when you accidentally press B and it cancels the whole thing. And I try setting up a Palmont evolution, where it has to walk 1,000 steps. While this seems easy, it's not. When I tried to do this, I tried using a little exploit to see if I can get the thing to walk on its own. And then I literally went to sleep and woke up in the next real life day and saw it sleeping. So let's just say I didn't get that evolution. Eventually, I realized that I would have to worry about the version exclusives from Pokemon Violet. Now, unlike you, I have friends, so these aren't a problem for me at all. However, I needed someone for those trades. Someone I could count on, someone I could trust. Let's go! I have a friend. Let's hope he can come in clutch. After sending some sweet DMs, I decided that now would be the best time to start breeding the starters so I could send them out on the black market. And after I've gotten all those worst starters, I went back to catching Pokemon. Later on, I realized that with me catching more and more Pokemon, I simply could have just caught all these throughout my normal playthrough. Too late for that now. After becoming friends with a few of these Pokemon and stuffing them immediately into boxes, I finally got through half of the Pokedex. This video is going to be a piece of cake. Believe it or not, we only have 0 subscribers and we already have a sponsor. That sponsor is me. You see, I've been putting a lot of effort into these videos for you guys, so I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. It's always free and you can always change your mind. If you do decide to subscribe, then I highly recommend you watch the other videos posted on my channel. Right now, there are 4 other videos already there waiting. So what are you waiting for? Just subscribe and we can get back to the video. So now I'm halfway through completing the Pokédex. So I kept catching more and more Pokemon and things were going smoothly. I was excited to finally complete a Pokédex for the first time in years. Even though at the time, that end felt so far away, I failed to realize that maybe I was a little bit closer than I thought. I only had about 100 Pokemon left before. So here we are, in that final stretch to get all those Pokemon. Surprisingly, it wasn't too hard. I mean, yeah, it took a few hours, but I eventually got to a point where I only had a few groups of Pokemon to catch. These being the Paradox Pokemon, the Treasures of Ruin Legendaries, and of course, the Violet exclusives. Speaking of which, we haven't checked on my friend in a bit. Let's see if we can trade. In the meantime, we can just focus on the rest of the Pokemon that I mentioned. First off, we'll get the Treasures of Ruin Quartet. Now, luckily, I didn't need any help at all because I'm a true Pokemon master, and I knew where everything was. Thanks, Austin. After finding where all of them lived, I was able to catch them and continue. The Paradox Pokemon were next, and those were pretty easy to find as well, which meant there were only 2 groups left. That being the extra Koraidon so I can trade it for a Miraidon, and the Violet exclusives. I knew I wanted to deal with that Koraidon first, and I wasn't going to use a Master Ball either. That's right, I wanted to catch it in a Premier Ball. So I marched up to him, prepared to weaken him just enough to be able to throw the Premier Ball into... Oh. I might have hit him a little too hard. Well, I could just reset and have an even better bat. I was tired, okay? This leaves only the trade exclusives left. And sadly, my friend won't be able to join us.
So, I forgot that online exists, so I just did that instead. So I have them. Yeah. So then I had all the Pokemon, and I went over to the Pokemon school to see Professor Shock, and he told me that I completed the Pokédex, and it was done. So all that hard work finally paid off. I got my diploma, and that was it. I finally completed the Paldean Pokédex, which puts an end to the story. But if you like this story, I bet you'll like the story where I caught as many shiny Pokemon as I could in an hour, which is right here. See you later, trainers.